right, welcome everybody. Today we're going to be talking about meditation. So come on in. How is everybody? Where are you joining from? How is everybody's Monday? We're on TikTok and YouTube. No one joined. How is everybody? Come on in. Still clear the room. I'm gonna clear our room and then we're gonna begin our discussion on meditation. So if you're interested in learning how to deepen your meditation, or if you have any questions on meditation, today we'll be opening the chat for that. How is everybody? I'm burning some astral projection incense. I have to fix my thing. Welcome everybody. How is everybody tonight? How was your Monday? Where are you coming from? We're gonna do some meditation. Does anybody in here meditate? If you meditate, please leave a comment. And you can feel free to ask questions. We're going to do some meditation today. Just want to make sure everything's going okay. I guess you guys are all meditating already, huh? Shy group today. All right, so I'm going to get this incense going. You try to meditate, Tara? What kind of meditation are you doing? Are you doing like guided meditations or sitting in silence? Sweeten up the room here. So before we do, you sit in silence. How's it going? How long can you sit in the silence? That's actually the best meditation you can do, is sitting in silence. There's a meditation that will be later on a different Monday that I'll show you. But like, if you're just beginning to meditate, sitting in silence is really good. And you can start with 1 minute 3 times a day. So you want to set an alarm and do 1 minute morning, and then set an alarm again for noon time, 1 minute, and then set an alarm again for, late evening or evening, 1 minute. That's a good way to just start a good meditation. Your meditation practice doesn't have to be long, but it has to be consistent. Not long, my mind goes off and I have to bring myself back. Yeah. So that's why you start with the 1 minute. So try to just do 1 minute a day and build it up. And then stretch to 10 minutes, maybe 5 minutes before that, then 10 minutes. And then soon you'll be sitting 45 minutes, an hour, no problem. But we're going to talk about some different things, and we're actually going to meditate tonight. So tonight is your opportunity to meditate in a group. And that's probably the most powerful way to actually meditate. When I used to teach meditation classes, something that a lot of my students always said was, oh, I noticed that when I meditate here in the group, it's much clearer. I get more visions. I see more things. I clear my mind more. And it's because when you do it in a group, it's amplified. Meditation is amplified. It's more powerful in a group. But with that, you have to be in the right group. You have to be in the right group, because sometimes some of those groups get kind of weird too. Because it's a spiritual thing, it's a psychic thing. So you have to feel real comfortable with the group that you're sitting with. And the purpose of meditation is to clear your mind so that you can focus in your daily life, you can find peace in your daily life, you can find happiness. And especially now with all the mental health stuff going on, where people are really at the kind of end of their rope, it's more important than ever that we start to meditate and we start to come together and do these kind of things to help each other and support each other so that we find peace and happiness. I like group. You like group meditation, Sandra? Yeah, the group meditation's nice. And when you start getting more people to meditate together, you start to have more power. Like that meditation becomes more powerful. And so in ancient times, and there's still cultures that do this, you would do a group, I guess I call it like dreaming cultures. They would dream together, they would meditate together, and they would get a group vision on what their next step would be. Especially like the Aboriginal people in Australia, they were very famous for that, where they would sit together, they would dream together, and then they would see where they were to go next. They would have a vision as a collective. So imagine if we all sat in meditation and we got a vision in the collective, right? Imagine the power of that. So Sandra saying, my mind wanders with just music. I usually need guided meditations. How do you just be in the now with nothing going on in your mind? That's like the number one question, right? How do I meditate without thinking about what's coming next or what I'm going to eat or, the next thing, next. And that's what you're trying to break in your mind. Because when you're constantly worried about next, you can never have peace. You'll always be wondering what's next. And that's what we call anxiety or worry. And so meditation, one of the main points of it in the beginning, until you can get more clarity in your mind, is to concentrate. So anytime you have a thought, you want to see it like passing and continue to focus on the nothing or the space between. So part of meditation is also, how can I make the pause in between thoughts longer so that eventually they become longer and 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 longer, so that you're not always thinking next, 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 next. Because that's the problem with the monkey mind, is that the monkey mind is always thinking next. What's coming next? What am I going to do next? And then you never have any peace of mind, right? Because you're always thinking next, 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 next. And then you're just constantly nexting. And actually in acupuncture, they have a point that they, they'll put the needle in to help you with that worry stuff. Especially, in the times we're living in, we're always thinking of next and we're always worried. And that's a pattern. That's actually a pattern of suffering that meditation will help with. So some of the main reasons that we meditate is to break that monkey mind. The acupuncture point is somewhere on your, like around your knee. I wouldn't be able to show you right now, but in China, every day they go for that. Because what it also does is it helps you sleep. There's also points in your head that they will point to. It's all connected. Because say you have pain in your body, and that pain is going to be like all you focus on. And so a lot of times if you're in chronic pain or constant pain, they will use that point so that you're more relaxed. You can sleep better. You're not worried all the time. Because part of the reason people don't sleep is they're constantly worried. They have doubts, they have confusion. They're always thinking next, 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 next. And that's why you don't have any peace in your life. Because when you're constantly thinking about what could be instead of what is right now, you cannot have any peace, because it's always next, 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 next. That's the monkey mind. Yeah, chronic pain is the worst. It is the worst when you have chronic pain, because it's all you can think about is that pain and how to get rid of that pain. And then how do you have any peace when you're just constantly in pain? And so a lot of the meditation practices in the East are to break the mind of the pain thought. So you will endure really rigorous training, like the Shaolin monks. They'll go through really rigorous training until their body just is so tired and so beat down, and their mind has to get so strong to overcome that feeling and that constant nagging of pain. So we know that if we have a strong mind and we can, cultivate that strength, then we can overcome anything with the power of meditation, because then they will do that rigorous training like that. And soon they don't feel the pain. They transcend the pain. They overcome the pain. They become the pain almost, in a way, like they're one with it and they're just riding that wave, and then they can do incredible things. I don't think that's my path for sure. No, it's not your path. But we can learn a lot from that type of training, because just think about it. If you were able to cultivate a solid meditation practice and you just relaxed, everybody can do that, at least that first step. Where if you're, meditating and you're not thinking about what's next, you know what I mean? You're just in the peace wherever you are. And in this time that we're living in, that's going to carry a lot of people through if they can just cultivate that part of it, where you're not constantly thinking about what's coming next and what's going to happen to me. Am I going to be okay? That kind of thing. It's just like, okay, how can I first start to break my monkey mind? And that's what we're going to do on Mondays. Every Monday, when I can, we're going to talk about meditation, and we're going to do meditation stuff. And so today, I just want to talk about the basic first step of meditation. Because there's a lot of meditation out there. There's mindful meditation, there's transcendence meditation, there's guided meditation, there's spiritual meditation, there's meditation, right? And it's like, what's the point of it? What's the real point of meditation? The real point of meditation is clearing your mind so you can be at peace. Now, people who meditate a lot tend to also develop their spiritual gifts. So I always tell people, you don't need to know anything. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to spend money. You don't have to buy crystals or herbs or anything. You just have to sit in meditation. But people want to do all that other stuff because meditation in our noisy society is harder to cultivate. Like when you live in Asia, it's not as hard because even you're in a really busy city, you go on the bus, you go on the subway, you go on the train, everybody's quiet and everybody's meditating. If you talk on a bus in Korea, you will get yelled at because that's meditation time. That's quiet time. You'll go on a subway and everybody's quiet because they've had a busy day and they're all day long. And then they get into these places and spaces and they just want to drop into meditation. They're not sleeping. They look like they're sleeping, but they're meditating. Struggle is real. Sitting with yourself when you've had trauma is hard. Give crystals and herbs. Yeah. Yeah. Crystals and herbs can help. And actually, you can use them in meditation. You wear your oils, you wear your crystals, and they will help amplify the energy. But ultimately, yeah, meditation is about sitting with yourself. Meditation is the doorway in. And that's why in our society, I think it's harder because everybody is looking out, whereas meditation is looking in. Yeah, meditation is absolutely where you need to be. I think it's where everybody needs to be. I think anybody, no matter of their religion, no matter what their background is, no matter how much trauma they have, no matter what, everybody can start a meditation practice. And it can be in those times in between your busyness. They don't have to be in the times where you're, it's going to balance your life, is basically what I'm saying. It's going to balance your life because when you're constantly in anxiety and worry, you're in a trauma response. Most people operating in our society are in a trauma response. They're constantly reacting instead of responding. They're constantly checking out instead of checking in. And that's what meditation will do for us. Meditation is the doorway in. Anything you want to know about yourself is going to be found through meditation because meditation is that powerful. Meditation is the mediator between this world and that world. And people always ask me all the time, how do I develop my spiritual gifts? How do I, cultivate my visions or hearing or seeing or whatever vision or gift you're given? And it's meditation. Meditation is the way in. But the problem is a lot of times when you have a spiritual gift and you're psychically connected, you'll have more anxiety. You'll have more depression until you are able to remove those energies or spirits that are causing you the anxiety and the depression. And also, a lot of times when you have a spiritual gift, you have a lot more anxiety because you're kind of hiding it or you're afraid of it. A lot of people, they'll see a flash of a something and then they'll freak out and they'll think, oh no, it's like something dark or something this or something that. And it's just their spiritual gifts are turning on. And instead of embracing them, people are rejecting them and pushing them away. And then that anxiety and that feeling just builds up. It builds up. It builds up. So we had someone who says they're doing silent meditation. And I said earlier, silent meditation is good. If you're new to silence, you only do it 1 minute 3 times a day. You start with 1 minute in the morning, you start with 1 minute in the noontime, and then you start with another minute at the end. And you do that until you're really good with 1 minute. 1 minute of stillness 3 times a day. That's a really good starting place for meditation. Then as you build your practice, maybe you go to 2 minutes, maybe you go to 5 minutes, maybe you go to 10 minutes. Maybe you start then deciding, okay, every day when I wake up, I'm going to meditate for 10 minutes. Every day when I wake up, I'm going to meditate for half an hour. You know, you build your stamina, you build it. And then as you build it, you really enjoy it. You really enjoy it. But it's, again, like I've been talking about on these lives, it's the discipline of it. It's the everyday commitment to yourself, to your peace of mind, to your happiness, that I'm going to do this. Don't go into meditation trying to get anything, not in the beginning. You just want to do it. That's the whole point. Just start. Don't try to get anything in the beginning. Don't try to get a vision or any of that stuff, because until you understand what spirits you're working with and how they communicate with you, you want to first cultivate stillness and nothingness. Because then your spirits or your visions and things that do come after that will be much more pure. And, you know, in the East, actually, in the Buddhist teachings, they don't like all that stuff, because they said you're still thinking. You're still thinking. And that's why like guided meditations and stuff are good, but sometimes you're still thinking. And the real practice is just to start with nothingness. Is it okay to wear headphones to block out the outside noise? Yeah, it's okay to wear headphones. You know, now I have music playing because we're going to do some meditations. But I think in the beginning, maybe soft music is okay. But I think the 1 minute, 3 times a day will help. And then if you want to do longer meditations, you can listen to music. You can, you can listen to headphones or whatever. But try to first start with just clearing your mind. And that's the 1 minute. Okay. Don't try to go 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. No, don't, just start with the 1 minute. Okay. And build it, build it, build it. And then every time you have a thought, like, oh, what am I going to do later? Or, oh, you know, because you're going to have thought that comes up. You're going to imagine that it's like a cloud and it's just floating by. Okay. You're not going to pay attention to it. You're not going to feed it. You're not going to start indulging in it. You know how the mind is. You're just going to try to see it like a passing cloud, and it's just passing by. It's not doing anything. Okay. That's the whole point of the beginning. So you're just going to see the passing cloud. Okay. And then go back to nothing. Train yourself to go back to nothing. That's the whole purpose of meditation, is you want to train yourself to go back to nothing. Because no thing is the essence of all existence. No thing, nothing, is the essence of all existence. Everything you want to know, everything you want to see, everything you want to develop, everything you want to manifest, everything that you could ever want is in the nothingness. It's in the silence. That's why even in the Bible, it was like we were created from nothing. You know, if you read it, it's like nothing. We're in nothing, the void. That's where we manifest. That's the universe, as they call it, is in the nothing, no thing. And in Asia, they call it mu, M-U. And then in like New Age terminology, they call it Lemuria. That's what they're talking about when they're talking about Lemuria, the first world. Is the time of nothing, no thing. So everybody can go back to Lemuria. If you want to go back to Lemuria, close your eyes and go into nothing, right? Because that's what that first world was talking about, was manifestation. You know, how to ascend, right? How to transcend this world and go into other worlds. That's what meditation is. And that's why the longer you meditate, the more you cultivate that peace, because peace is in the nothing. It's in the nothing. That's why monks don't have anything. They don't have houses. They don't have jobs. They don't have anything. They have their daily practice to spirit and their service to humanity. Because part of it is like, once you cultivate your peace, once you cultivate your happiness, once you cultivate your gifts, then you want to share it, because that's the whole point of it. The whole point of meditation is to better yourself so that you can better the world. And that's the higher teaching of meditation, is it's not just sitting in meditation and, oh, I feel good. Yeah, you want to feel good, but you also want to share that good feeling with the world. You want to get into your practice. You want to get into cultivating a higher vibration, a higher frequency, a higher energy field, so that when you go out into the world, you are the medicine to the world. Imagine if you're so full of peace and you're so full of happiness and you're so full of love, and then you go out in the world, people feel that. It's your aura, it's your energy. And people will tell you, I don't know what it is, but I just want to be around you. Kids will love you. Kids love that energy. Kids love that frequency. Babies, they love it because they are just energetic beings. Animals will just love to be in your presence. It's an energy, it's a frequency. And that's why I wanted to start Meditation Monday again. I used to do Meditation Monday when I had my wellness center years ago, and I used to do a blog talk radio every day, every Monday. And so I decided to go back to that, because I feel like at this time, we need to meditate more. We need to come together, because it doesn't take a lot of people to meditate to change the world, because the heart space actually vibrates 20,000 times faster and stronger than the mind. So it doesn't take a lot of people to be in positive energy to change the vibration of the world. And that's what the teaching of the 144,000 actually is talking about. It's talking about the 144,000 people in a positive frequency, in a loving, healing frequency that can change the whole entire frequency of the world. And just think about that. It's pretty powerful if you think about it. If 144,000 people could get completely into the love frequency, the whole world would change. The whole world. It doesn't take a lot of people. How many billions of people are on this planet? It only takes 144,000 people to change the frequency of the world. But that's how hard it is to change the frequency of the world. You know what I mean? That doesn't seem like a large number, and yet we're still not there yet. We're still not there yet. So let's practice our meditation so we can get there. Okay. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, right. Wow. I remember when my first teacher taught us about that whole frequency thing, and this is a long time ago, before people were talking about it. And and you read the Bible and all that stuff, and you start understanding what they're talking about. And so the thing is like, right now, if enough people every day get into a love vibration, and first you have to start with yourself, right? First you have to start with yourself. And that's what we're going to start with meditation. Meditation on love, self-love. And then next week, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do it, but I have worksheets that we're going to start doing on self-love, because we have to start with love for ourselves first. And then we go to our family, and then we go to our community, and then the world. We don't go from self to world, because then it doesn't work that way. You always have to go in those steps. Every healer has to go through those steps to get to enlightenment. You have to go from self to family to community to the world. And a lot of people miss that, because they all want to go from self to the world. And they're not ready for the world yet. If your family's all messed up, it's kind of hard to heal the world. Your community's all messed up, it's really hard to go that far of a leap and a jump. That's why we have very few ascended masters. And when we know I'm ascended master because their teachings last for thousands upon thousands of years. Like Jesus, the Buddha, all these ascended masters that we still talk about to this day, is because their teachings, their energy frequency, their love, their compassion, their holiness, their beingness left such a big impact on the world that we're still talking about them. We're still feeling them. We're still meditating with them. We're still praying with them. We're still feeling that love. That's pretty powerful. That's the kind of love I'm talking about. Hi, Shamanisa. Hi, Christy. Mr. Rogers needs to be an ascended master. Yeah. And you see, Mr. Rogers, I don't know about his family and all that stuff, but he definitely worked strong in the community because, his little train, what was his little neighborhood that he had, that little puppet show and all that? Which I think anybody who ever watched Mr. Rogers, we all wanted that, right? I wanted that train setup, the owl and all that. But, that's the community. It was a whole community he was talking about in that little show. But then it was broadcast on TV, so it went to the world, right? And then it left that huge impact. How many people have to change their frequency? I was like the kid in class not listening, sorry. Yeah, it's a beautiful show. Hi, Lola. The neighbor of make-believe. Yeah, make-believe. The make-believe land, right? That's the void. That's the, it's the nothingness. Anything can happen in this make-believe world, right? How many people have to change the world is 144,000. That's what the 144,000 is actually talking about. And nowadays I see, like, on social media, people keep talking about the chosen ones, the chosen ones, the chosen ones. I think that's what they're trying to talk about. But there's a lot of, it's not a new age concept. It's not even just a biblical concept. It's the flower of life is talking about that too. That, I don't have it with me right here. But the flower of life, that pattern is talking about the 144 that all come together in that pattern to change the frequency of the world. There's a lot of symbology and there's a lot of meaning in the 144. And the 144, I don't think a lot of people really truly understand what that actually means. Because I see a lot of kind of garbage about it. It's not talking about you're chosen, you're special, you're this, you're that. It's not anything like that. It's just a choice that people make to make a better improvement on themselves and to be on a self-transformation journey and to come together like a flower to enlighten the world, to help the world move up in frequency instead of down in frequency. Yeah, his show was all about love and kindness and understanding people, understanding different people, right? It's not a big number, but it's a big task because the 144, it's not about doing this for fame or recognition or money or something like that. It's just it's actually a commitment to yourself that you made, that you would work on cultivating the love to help the world at this time and space. So what I believe about the 144,000 is that every time someone of that 144,000, passes, a new one will come. And it's like a new cycle. It's like always on the planet, there will be 144,000 people who will do the work. And most of them we won't ever know of. We won't hear about them. They won't be famous. We won't even know. It'll just be that impact that they left on the world, on their community, whatever. And they're all over the world. They're all over the world. They're not in one place. They're not in one place. It's a big task. And that's why people who are the 144, they're always going to feel like they don't fit in, or, they're always going to kind of struggle in this world. A lot of them are nomads. They'll travel around because their frequency is needed in different places at different times. Yeah, it's 144,000. Yeah, the second one. The impact without knowing is a cool idea. Yeah, they don't know. Actually, people who have this frequency and energy, they don't know. They don't know. In fact, I think most people who are part of the 144, they don't fit in most places. They're like outcasts. But they have incredible gifts. They're healers, they're teachers, they're singers, they're dancers, they're artists, they're musicians, you know. They're the people that just don't fit in. And they're creators. And they struggle with that. So they have to overcome a lot of obstacles to develop that power of love for somebody. Because think about how powerful the heart is, but also how powerful the heart is to hold on to resentment, greed, selfishness, ignorance. You know, we have to overcome all those avarices in order to become a true vessel of pure healing. And what in the Native culture we call it is a pure heart, to become a pure heart. Yeah, it's the pure heart. It's not easy though. It's not easy to be a pure heart. And that's why you need meditation. You need meditation, because meditation will help you to release, to let go, to forgive, to transcend those wounds, the wounds of the heart. So the chosen people, you know, a lot of times I see them talking about, oh, you're stalked or you're whatever, gang stalked. It's not about that stuff. You're not paranoid. You have to overcome all that stuff, because the truth of it is that when you have a lot of trauma, it's really hard to be vulnerable. It's really hard to be intimate. It's really hard to connect to people. Most people who have a lot of trauma are in their homes, like the empaths. They don't want to come out because the world is traumatizing. And so part of meditation is that it will help you connect heart to heart with people, to see them no matter how flawed they are, no matter how wounded they are, no matter how angry they are, no matter how, you know, messed up they are, and no matter how they treat you, to see them as the divine, to see them as the light, to see them as pure and innocent. Not to taken advantage of, because that's what a lot of empaths do, you know, but to see them and to have compassion for them and to have love for them and to pray for them and not want revenge or, you know, I'm going to get you, or, ooh, I'm going to hex you or something like that. No, that's the difference. That's what the 144,000 is about. It's that they're like angels who come into this world ready for battle, ready to be a warrior, and what I call a love warrior, to leave a legacy here on this planet of love. And through that legacy, they impact others through inspiration. Because when you see someone like that, it inspires you to be a better person. And even in this day and age, we still revere people who are good to other people. We still revere people who are kind and compassionate and loving, because we really know how hard that is to be. It's very hard to be loving and compassionate in the face of someone yelling at you, or someone, you know, accusing you, or someone, you know, dishonoring you or whatever. It's really hard to see that divinity within somebody when they're at their ugliest. They're, you know, think about raping and murdering and all that stuff. You know, that's like, you have to be like so advanced to still see the love, to still forgive. And you hear those stories all the time. You know, oh, the mother forgive that guy who killed her son. That's what I'm talking about. That kind of like non-human quality, really. And that's what, you know, that's what the 144 is here to work on, is how to develop that within themselves. And they're not perfect. It's just that you're on that path of self-transformation. Do people walk to the path or are born to it? I think it's both. It's something you're born with, and you have the potential for, just like the shamanic path. It's something you're born with and you have the potential for, but it's something you also choose. It's your free will. You always have free will on this planet. But if you have it and you meet the right person and you get inspired by the right thing and something changes your life, you'll have like a life altering, life changing moment that pushes you to step into your path. Then you know, that will get you going. It'll get you going on that path. Especially starting with yourself when we are taught to be self-absorbed. Yeah. And you know, in the East, the teaching that they say is that here, those of us born in America, we have bad karma. That's what the teachings of the East, like in Tibetan Buddhism, the teachers say we have bad karma. Why? Because we're born in such a low spiritual culture. We don't have any spirituality in our culture, and we don't treat each other nice. It's because we're not spiritual. Like, you go to Tibetan culture, they're extremely nice, they're extremely spiritual, and they consider themselves to be of a higher karma than we are, like a better karma, because they were born into such a spiritually wealthy country. We are born into a materially wealthy country, but a very spiritually poor country. And we treat people who are spiritual very poorly in our country. So it's a sad state. So in the East, they say that's very sad. And for those of us who are born in America, we almost have to work 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 times harder to become spiritual. Because unless you're born into a spiritual culture, like Native Americans, that's a very spiritual culture. But you see how poor most Native Americans are. It's because we don't value that in our country. We value the Porsche, the Lamborghini, the mansion, the, step on everybody to get rich. That's what we value here. So we're changing the frequency. So at this time in space, a lot of the 144, guess where they're going to be? They're going to be in America. That's where we're needed. The movie The Shack. Oh, I haven't seen that movie. I'll have to look it up. Yeah, it's a form of independence. Yeah, it's a form of, and see, the thing is, it's different too, is in the East, it's a community, not an independent. It's not about independence, it's about community. And you have so much more help and support too. So that's why we're changing it. I think this next generation coming up here in America, they're gonna be so different. They're already different. Oh, good night, Rachel. Thanks for joining. So that's the thing, is like, this generation is more spiritual. It's gonna keep evolving, but we're in our infancy here. And I think as we rise more, it's gonna change, because we're at the point now in our transition in human evolution where people are going to have to choose one of two paths. They're going to have to choose the spiritual path or the material path. It's going to be very blatantly obvious and clear where you are on that path. If you choose a more spiritual path, everything moves in alignment to nature, healing, community, being together. That's what they all talk about, the fifth and all that dimension stuff is about moving to a spiritual. And that's what the native teachings talk about, is that we're either going to go to a material way, which is going to lead to destruction, or we're going to go to a spiritual way that will enlighten the culture. But in the beginning of this transition, it's like you got to pick a road, and we call it the red road. If you're going to be a spiritual person, you have to pick the red road, and you have to live by the teachings of the red road. But if you're going to choose the black road of destruction, then your ultimate, end is destruction. You could also say you're either going to choose to be a creator or a destroyer. You're going to choose to be a healer or a killer. It's the same thing. Like, there's a lot of different teachings that talk about those, and they use those words for us to understand what it is. I think so too about the generation. Yeah. Yes, the little ones are being taught different because their parents are going through awakenings. Yeah. It's that, Gen X, millennial, those parents are teaching these next children more about love, self-healing, self-care. You see that everywhere now, self-care. Baby boomers are terrible. They never took care of themselves. Their generation very much like falling apart because they never took care of themselves. But now the next generations, you're starting to hear a lot about self-care rituals, self-healing, self-transformation, self-love. You're starting to hear those things because they're going through the awakening. They're into crystals, they're into psychic stuff, they're into intuition, meditation, acupuncture, all these kind of fringe subjects are now coming into the mainstream, but they're still materially and consumerist. They're still talking about buying a bunch of stuff for your spiritual enlightenment. Where I love the teachings of my Eastern culture, because most Eastern cultures don't emphasize buying stuff. It emphasizes the teachings. I believe in multiple teachings from spirituality. How do I say that to my children? It depends, I guess like multi-dimensional, multicultural. You could say universal teachings. I think that's a better word, because I think that's what it is. When you get down to the nitty-gritty of it, the universal teaching is love and compassion, kindness, and being a better person. That's a spiritual path. I have one son that is Native and one who is white, and I'm Black. You know what my parents did? Because, I'm part Native American and Korean, and neither of my parents were religious. They weren't religious. My dad, he was more into the Native practices, and my mom was like, nothing. She's just like a hodgepodge. She has her own thing. But what they told me at a very young age, which cultivated my own spirituality, and it was why I love studying spirituality, is they told me, whatever you choose for yourself will support you, but we're not going to teach you anything. I mean, you can teach your kids if you're a spiritual person and you know stuff. But for me, they just said, you're on your own. You go and study whatever you want, however you want it, whatever your spirit wants to study and know. And, if you want to join a religion or whatever, but that's like your personal choice. And I always thank them for that, because they didn't force a religion on me. I got to try everything. And I did. I would go to church by myself. I never liked church. I would go, though. There was a church down the road. I would go. I would go as a little girl, 10, 12 years old. And I would go to church. And I just wanted to know, what is church? And I would go there and they would treat me terribly, like an outsider, like, who invited you? Why are you here? And I didn't like that feeling. I was like, wow, it's not incorporating, because it was very much like not a warm and inviting place, right? And then I would go to other things, and I was always looking for it. Even my friend, when I was young, the Pope came to town, and I went and I did all the Pope stuff, and I didn't like that either. But what I did like was I liked to study the dreams. When I was in elementary school, I could interpret my friends' dreams, and I could do hypnosis on them. Those were the things I was just naturally interested in. You can show them what you like, explain, and answer any questions that will open. Yeah, you can, you just teach them what you know, and then you just let them, find what they like. They will know what they like. Some kids really like nature. Some, kids really like prayer. Some kids, like I have a friend, they're very much not religious or anything. They're more spiritual, and they have a school on the Navajo reservation. And so they were more into Native stuff. They're not Native, but they like Native stuff. And their kids don't like any of that stuff. Their kids went to more of the Christian, like not just the Christian, but those big Christian churches, like they like that stuff. And that's what they do. And their parents don't say anything. They just accept him and love him. And sometimes they even go to church with them when they invite them, because they like it so much that they want to, encourage them to do whatever they want to do. And that's what spirituality is. Spirituality is not forcing something down someone's throat. Spirituality is allowing that person to have their own connection to the divine and to respect it for what it is. And not, that's why I like India. India is the womb of all Asian spirituality. It's the womb. Everything in Asian spirituality was born through Asia or through India. And their main teaching is Hinduism. And in Hinduism, it says there are billions of paths to God, billions, and everybody will choose their own path. There's a path of asceticism where people are celibate and, they're hermits and they live in the forest. And then there's a whole other side of it where people are tantric and having sex with everybody and, living in communities. And so there's a different path for everybody. There's no judgment. Yeah, I think that, don't get so caught up with the race stuff. I think that we really get caught up, well, it's native path or that's this or that's that, because everybody can connect to the divine. They just find their way. They find their way. And the best way to begin with is connecting to meditation, to the earth, to quieting your mind, to just finding more peace and happiness in your daily life to become a better person. Some of the most spiritual people are atheists. They just don't know they're spiritual. But you know what I mean? They don't try to bombard people with their thoughts and beliefs and their things. And, they just allow people to be as they are, to be wherever they are, however they are. That's real meditation in everyday life. It's just to accept people as they are. Don't try to change them. You can have influence on them. You can inspire them. You can work on yourself. And maybe that spark of light will spark them. But if we can just accept people as they are and love them, that's like half the battle. That's half the battle. Because so many times we want to change somebody. We want to force something. We want to control it. We want to, well, how come they're not like me? Nobody's like that. Everybody's different. We all have different backgrounds. We all have different belief systems. We all have differences. But that doesn't mean we can't accept and love each other without trying to change them. And that's the hardest part, because in meditation, part of our practice too that we want to cultivate is surrender and letting go and not holding on. That's one of the biggest teachings in meditation, is how to let go, how to just let go. Let go of thoughts, let go of emotions, let go of energies, let go of everything, the past, let go of the future, and just let go. And so part of your meditation practice now, you can start with, I just let go. And just breathing in and out. I just let go. I just let go until you feel that release, and keep breathing. And then do that for, a minute. And then, like I said, our goal right now for our first Meditation Monday for all the newbies is just let go. Just let go. Until you can get into a place of just letting go, then you enter the silence. And you can say it, I just let go. And feel that in your body. Feel that in your energy field. I just let go. And as you're letting go, drift into the silence. Drift into the nothingness. Just drift. See how already that changes the frequency though? Because I just let go. Especially after a day of work, let go. Just let go. Yeah, that is the hard part. It's the hard part, because what does our mind do? It attaches. It attaches. It clings. It holds on. It doesn't want to let go. That's the mind. And that's what we break in meditation, is we break the monkey mind where it's always jumping around here, there, everywhere. And then we break the clinginess, the desperation. That's part of it, is the attachment to what was instead of embracing what is. And that's a lot of problems in love, or even, everything. And you can look at anything. But the ultimate letting go is when someone dies. That's the letting go. That's the full letting go. That's graduation day. When you die off this planet, you graduated. And so actually it's quite a big accomplishment, but it's quite a big transition for the people left behind. And that's the grieving process, because now in the grieving process, you have to let go of that person. You have to let go of that past that you had. You have to embrace the new that you're given when a person dies, especially someone very close to you. Your pet dies, anytime anybody dies, because ultimately that's the final letting go, is that you leave this planet. You got to go. And then, that whole process begins. So I think meditation, in its most best attribute of it, is that it helps you to deal with death. It helps you to deal with death in all forms. Death of a person, death of a pet, death of a lifestyle, death, like we all went through a death, the transition from 2019 to 2020, when we all went into lockdown and all that, that was a death. Everything in this life has a beginning and then it has an end. And meditation will help you to deal with that better. There's a lot of benefits to it, but it will help. It will help. The money thing. The money mind bump too. Yeah. I think money is the number one. Almost number one, and love number two. I don't know, they're probably on the same level. But those are the two things when people come to me for readings, it's about those two subjects, love and money. And sometimes health, a lot of times health too, but it's always tangled up with money and love, because money is like a never enough thing. You're never going to have enough of it, even when you're a billionaire, and there's just never enough of it. And then when you get a certain amount of it, you want to hold it, you don't want to give it. It's just, money is a big problem. Oh, the monkey mind. You were saying the money mind. But the money mind is a big one. It robs your peace and happiness. That's why monks don't have money. They take it from them because they don't want to give them all the tools necessary to enlighten. And part of the blockages of enlightenment are love relationships and money relationships. And how you make money too, because a lot of times people make money doing things they hate, and then that robs their peace and happiness. Yeah, thanks, Kelly. I think you think it was a typo, but I don't think that was a typo. I think it needed to be said, because the money thing is a big one. It's the reason why a lot of people don't embrace their spiritual path too. Oh, I don't have the money. The thing I'm here to teach you on Mondays is you don't have to have the money to meditate. It's free. People are always looking for free stuff. Well, it's free. And you don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to do anything. Yeah. It's just there. But people still don't do it because they got other stuff. They don't want to. It's because they don't want to look at themselves. They want to quiet. It's hard to quiet yourself. It takes time and discipline to really meditate. You could care less about money, but unfortunately we need it in this life. Yeah. Money is just a tool. It's a tool. It's something we need. And I feel that everybody who is part of that, when I was talking about that frequency, anybody who's here in this room, and all the healers and all the empaths and all the people who, usually the healers and empaths and all them, they struggle with money. But everybody who's on a self-transformation path, I hope you all become very wealthy. That's always my prayer. That every healer, every what they call light worker, every empath, every native person, every person who's here doing good in the world, holding that frequency, I hope you become very wealthy and very successful in what you do. Why? Because those are the people who give. You give a healer money, it's all given away. Most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, people who want to help other people, who are generous or who are kind, who are loving, who are empaths, who are, here because they're holding a certain vibration and balance in the world. Those are the people who at this time and space need to be the wealthiest. But unfortunately, those are the people who don't like money, don't want money, push money away, give it away. As soon as it comes in, it goes out. That's why I said you guys need to be very wealthy, because then more goes out to the places and spaces it's needed. Billionaires and millionaires and all those people who have all the money, trillionaires, they don't give the money out. They're the cheapest people you'll ever meet. Believe me, I have a lot of clients that are very wealthy like that, who, people that everybody wants to meet. And they're usually the people that are the cheapest and the stingiest. And that's why they're the richest, because they hoard money. And they don't want to help people. And that's the tragedy of it. They are so cheap. Yeah, Lola, they're so cheap. It's sad. Look at Warren Buffett. Okay. The typo was a Freudian slip. Yeah, it was a spiritual slip. But you know what I mean? That's why I always tell people, it's like, if you're an empath and you're here doing good work and you're somebody who can change the frequency of the planet, please step into your wealth vibration. And we're going to talk about money later, but please do it. Please open the door for more wealth and attracting more wealth and bringing more wealth into your hands, because then you will go and you will do good things with it. That's like every healer's burden. They want to do healings. They want to help people. They want to do things, but it's the money thing. Yeah, you're working on it. Oh, good, Lola. It's the money thing. It's the money thing all the time. Every time. Oh, I want to start a healing center, or I want to do this, or I want to do that. But, I feel like it's possible, but it's just like, we have to come together for it too, and get out of the individual thing and get into a collective mind. See, in Asia, the reason that everything go up easily there, you start a business in Asia, you're more likely to succeed than here. Why? Because in Asia, when you open a business, you tell your family, you tell your friends, and they'll bring everybody. They'll bring everybody. And they'll say, you got to buy something. You got to support my cousin, my friend, my this, my that, my huda. And then, 80% of Asian businesses succeed because it's the community supporting it. Imagine if we did that here. Imagine all your friends start a business and you all run over there. I know from personal experience, when I first had my wellness center, the people who support me the most throughout my entire career doing this work are people I don't know. People I don't know. People I know are jealous, or they're like, why don't I do that? Or they're looking at something stupid like that, instead of saying, oh, I want to support her. Oh, I want to bring my friend over there. Oh, I referred somebody I didn't know. Not usually like that. And most people I talk to, they don't have that story either. They say, yeah, it's the strangers. It's the people on TikTok. It's the people on YouTube. It's people, in other places and spaces that you don't know. But, that's how it goes here. But in Asia, it's a lot different. I think that's so beautiful too, but the concept took me a minute. Yeah, is because, and I think like Jewish communities are like that, or certain communities are still like that here, but they're like pockets, right? It's not the whole collective, because our culture is different. Our culture is more individualistic. It's harder. It's not community oriented. And that's like the road of spirituality, because spiritual community is very important in spirituality too. And that's the concept of, your Sangha. It's the concept that you don't do a spiritual path alone. There are times you will be a hermit and you'll be alone, and but I think that's kind of the cool thing about this technology is you're alone, but you're not alone. See, you see all these people here in a chat room. Those are the people who are in the same vibration. We're all in the same frequency. We're all in the same energy field to be drawn to this time and space at this exact moment. And that's what we're talking about when we talk about spirituality. It's a spiritual community. It's not that you're meant to do this alone. And also, when you're in a spiritual community, you're going to work on your ego. In a true spiritual community, when you're in a spiritual community, I think a lot of people know that from like church. When you're in church and then you like church and you're going to church and you're singing the songs and you're doing your thing, and then somebody starts getting on your nerves. Somebody starts poking you and triggering you. That's working on your ego. And a lot of people quit. A lot of people, I hate that church. I don't like that lady over there. I don't like this. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like this. But in, the Eastern teachings, we say, you still go. You don't like that person, you work it out. You don't just quit because it's your Sangha, that's your community, that's your people. Those are the people who you are going to work it out with. Whatever that struggle is, whatever that blockage to love is, whatever that anger is, whatever that frustration is, you're going to work it out. And once you work it out, you will heal that. Oh, good night, Sandra. Thanks for joining in. You were in hermit mode all last year. Yeah. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, I think most people have been in hermit mode because look at the way the world is. It's not exactly perfect. Let's just say that. I think now is like even harder because a lot of people are struggling mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially. A lot of people are struggling right now, and more than we've ever seen. And it's a silent struggle, but it's an obvious struggle. It's a very obvious struggle. You just go out into the world and the road rage, the looks on people's faces, the heaviness that they're carrying, the spiritual debris that is building up. Yeah, that's the problem right now in the world. And that's why I'm doing these lives now, because I feel like we need to come together more than ever. And we're all, like I said, with the 144, we're all over the world. Everybody's everywhere. Like doing this work, one of the things I love is I meet people from all over the world. And you get to meet everybody from all over the world, and you start to see like, oh, we're all in the same boat. We're all doing the same thing. We're all in the same, struggles. We're all trying to become a better person. We're all trying to do our part. And when you don't have the right support and you don't have the right community, it makes the work much harder. But even Jesus had his 12, right? He was a loner, but not a loner. So it's like the same thing. You at least need somebody. You need that 12. 12 is a magical number. And with him, he was the 13th, which is the completion number. That's the divine feminine. All right. So does anybody have any questions? Candle bliss. With our hearts. We have our Valentine's Day coming up tomorrow. Does anybody have any good plans or anything? You'd love to find your community. Yeah. You will love it until you hate it. Just kidding. Yeah, no, community is important. But I think the main point I was trying to say is just that, no community is perfect. No teacher is perfect. Nothing's going to be perfect because the ego is not perfect. Until the ego is purified and you're just letting go and surrendering, it's a struggle. You completed my massage school on Friday the 13th. Oh, that's the goddess day. That's, I will say a quick story is here in the West, we demonize Friday the 13th, but the Friday the 13th is actually the goddess. It's the day of the goddess. It's a very profound day. How do I connect with my guides? How do I get to my safe space without meditation? Well, you connect to your guides in meditation. Some people connect to their guides in dreams. Sometimes you'll connect to your guides in dreams. You can start to study lucid dreaming and open the doorway to lucid dreaming and asking to meet your guides. But I mean, we have all kinds of meditations to meet guides. That's the whole purpose of meditation, is to build your spiritual powers. And then how do I get to my safe space without meditation? First, you have to do trauma healing so that you feel safe, because a lot of the reason you're not feeling safe is you don't trust. And when you don't trust, you don't feel safe no matter where you go. And that comes from trauma. And so we do shadow work for that. And we do healing work until you're safe enough, because when you don't feel safe, it's hard to meditate. And that's like the root chakra that they talk about. That's all about rooting and grounding, but it's much more than just going outside and, without your shoes on or whatever. It's about doing trauma work and healing your shadow around why don't you feel safe. And that's part of what meditation can help you with too, if you're willing to look in those spaces and places. You were born on a Friday 13th. That's not surprising, Christy. Yeah. Are there other questions? You're welcome. Yeah. Just be patient with it. And like I said, that's why I give you the 1 minute practice. That's a practice from the East. Did you do 1 minute of silent meditation in the morning, 1 minute in the afternoon, and 1 minute in the evening? I also have a few meditations on my YouTube channel, SongBirdGrandMother. You can try those guided meditations. I have one meditation I recommend for every empath or anybody who's sensitive to energy, and it is the clearing your trauma holes in your aura. And you could try that meditation. I also have a soul contract meditation. I have a drumming meditation. Just try them and see. Sometimes guided meditations are the best when you're just first beginning, because it'll teach you just it's a little easier. For me, I started with my first teacher. It was guided meditations too, and it was pretty awesome. And that's the stuff you're talking about, connecting your spirit guide, going into shamanic journeys, that stuff. Yeah, and I'm going to add some more as we go on, but this is our first meditation room. This is our first night on every Monday, as I can do Mondays. I'm going to do meditation Monday. And so every week my schedule might change a little. This week I'm going to be on live Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Unfortunately, I can't do the weekend this time, but those are the days I'll be on here, and I'm going to talk about a different topic. So today's meditation. And so what we're going to do now, every week we'll do a little different meditation. And some weeks I'm working on building up. I'm going to talk about psychomancy. We're going to talk about spirit guide communication. We're going to talk about all those little things so you can start building your meditation practice. But in the beginning, the first thing is you just want to clear your mind. You just want to get to a point, and some of you are much more advanced. Some of you have been meditating more. Some of you know, everybody's at a different level. But I'm going to start at the base root of what I, you know, like, so anybody, if you've never meditated in your life, you can jump in. And so your homework after today, if you choose, is to do the 1 minute a day, 1 minute in the morning, 1 minute in the afternoon, 1 minute in the evening. And if you skip one, it's okay. Just go on to the next one. But just put it in your mind and say, okay, I'm going to start my meditation practice. I'm going to start with 1 minute of silence every day, and I'll just see how it goes. See it. Just no pressure, right? I'll just see how it goes. And then next Monday, when I come back on, then, you know, we'll go further. We'll go to the next step, and then the next step, and the next step, and the next step. And so those of you who want to stick around and keep coming, or other new people jump in, you know, you develop a meditation practice that works for you. Something that, you know, you can do no matter where you are, who you're with. You can pass it on to your friends, you know. That's the whole purpose of this, is that we start to get into that love frequency I was talking about. Because the people who are going to be coming on the lives are part of that 144. You're all part of the 144,000. And you're all over. And most of you are just in your house. You know, most of you, you know, just really don't want to like people too much. So you got to clear that too. No, you know, the introverts. And even introverts need community. You know that? Even introverts. I'm an introvert. That's why I laugh. I prefer to be in my own company with my cat. I'm just kidding. Oh, thank you, Christy. I love your lives. I always learn something new, and I feel grounded and relaxed afterward. That's good. That's what I like to hear. Is that you too? That's you, Lola and Christy. You have a dog? Yeah, dog. I have a dog too. I have cats. I have dogs. You know. The dog though is a little different than the cats. So the cats, I can find my Zen moment. Sometimes with that dog, I'm like, stop barking. Stop barking, licking my face. But we love our animals. All right, so the first meditation we're gonna do, and then we'll end our life, is I'm gonna do the candle. And I'm not gonna say anything. Oh, you have kids. The kids. Well, the kids, then you gotta teach them how to meditate so you can meditate together so that they can calm down, calm down. Yours is so sweet. Oh, good. Mine is too hyper. It's a little poodle dog. I was joking with my mom. I said, we need to find a doggy acupuncturist and knock the dog out. Knock her out. So she's not barking. She barks too much. But yeah, some dogs are so sweet. And my cats are so sweet. But, you know, we need both in our lives. We need the yin and the yang, the right, the wrong, all that stuff. Oh, border collie. He's hyper. Border collies are the smartest dog, though. The collies, they're super smart. Those are nice dogs. All right, so we got Green for healing. She's got something to say. Sure. All right, so we're going to do the candle meditation. So as the candle is burning, you're going to focus and meditate. And while the candle is burning, you're going to try to clear your thoughts. Okay, you're going to try to clear the thoughts. So again, remember, the first step of meditation is that when a thought comes up, just see it as a passing cloud. Don't give it any energy. Okay. Oh, well, you had a cat that was 16. I know. It's so sad when they pass. But, you know, later maybe connect to your cat in meditation. All right, so let's clear our minds. Take a nice deep breath in and out. And remember, we're just going to focus. Going to focus on the candle light. Don't focus on anything else. Put your phone down. Oh, thank you for the gift. It's very pretty, that one. So, oh, thanks for the gifts. Thanks for the rings. All right. Oh, thank you. All right, so we're gonna breathe in and out and prepare our space. And as I light the candle, I'm not gonna say anything. We're just gonna focus. No thoughts, nothing. Just try to focus on the candle light, okay? This is gonna be our first meditation exercise. All right, so take a nice deep breath in and out. I'm gonna light the candle. There we go. All right. Let's see. There we go. And just keep breathing. Okay, so now as you're focusing on the candle, I want you to connect to your heart and feel the love from the candle going into your heart space. Still clearing the mind. And just feel the love and the warmth filling your heart as you're activating your heart space now. Just breathing in and out. And remember, our mantra is, I just let go. Breathing and feel that release. Breathing in and out. I just let go. I just let go. And just breathing in and out. Relaxing your back and shoulders, neck and spine. Relaxing your lower back. Relaxing your knees. Relaxing your ankles and feet. and just feeling a relaxation in your body as you breathe in and out and say, I just let go. Any thoughts of the mind, you're just letting go as we're breathing in and out. And just breathing in and out. I'm going to put the candle down as we breathe in and out. And for those of you who might have been closing your eyes, come back into the space. Bring some sweet grass in for some sweet energies. And so that's just a simple way to begin your meditation practice, is with like a candle. You know, some people, they just stare at a picture. You know, you could do different things, but it's just about focus in the beginning. It's about cultivating focus. And so this week in your meditation practice, I invite you to do the 1 minute in the morning, 1 minute in the afternoon, 1 minute in the evening. And then I invite you to also now do a focus meditation where you light a candle and you focus for like a minute, 5 minutes, however long you can do it, and you just focus. Later, I'll teach you more advanced techniques on what you do with the candle focus too. But first, in the beginning of the meditation, because we're starting a new thing here, is just beginning to focus and letting those mind thoughts pass, the monkey mind. Just that's what we're going to try to, one step at a time though. Not overnight, okay? But one step at a time. Oh, you're welcome. That was better than when you normally try. Good. That's good. Just keep doing it. Now do the homework this week. And it doesn't have to be a long practice. It could be a 1 minute of just clearing your mind, clearing your mind. And every day you do it, every time you do it, you're going to get better. You're going to get better. You're going to get better. And you're going to feel more peace. You're going to have more gratitude, more compassion. You're going to start to cultivate these things. And it's not for other people. It's nice. It's nice when you cultivate kindness and compassion and all that stuff, but it's for you. It's for you. It's for your mental health. It's for your emotional health. It's for your spiritual health, your physical health. It's for everything. It's because when you can just let go, think of how many things won't bother you anymore. Okay. So thank you so much for joining me for Meditation Monday. I'll be back tomorrow and we're going to talk about love and we're going to do candle blessings for Valentine's Day. So I hope you all have a beautiful night. And until we meet again, many blessings. You're welcome. Bye.